to Professor SNAB, where we make A-level biology as simple as a cell. So today we're looking at another co-practical. So this time we're focusing on determining the tensile strength of plant fibers. So the aim of this practical is to determine the tensile strength of plant fibers by measuring the maximum force they can withstand before breaking. So for context, tensile strength is defined as the maximum pulling force per unit cross-sectional area that a fiber can withstand before breaking. Plant fibers are made of sclerenchyma fibers. The high tensile strength is due to cellulose microfibrils and secondary thickening. Applying increasing force until the fiber snaps allows tensile strength of the fibers to be calculated. So secure one end of a plant fiber to a clamp stand and then attach the other end to a mass holder. Gradually add masses until the fiber snaps and then record the breaking force. Measure the diameter of the fiber using a microscope and repeat for several fibers and calculate a mean. To look at the actual analysis of the practical, because the steps involved in the practical are pretty simple and easy to follow. So the independent variable is the force applied. The dependent variable can be the breaking force or the tensile strength. And the control variables that you need to consider are the fiber length, the fiber type, the environmental conditions, and the method of attachment. There are some calculations that you need to consider. The most obvious calculation that you need to look into is the tensile strength, which can be calculated using the following formula. So force divided by the cross-sectional area, which you can calculate by finding the diameter first, will give you the tensile strength. What you will be expected to see is that fibers with higher cellulose content and thicker secondary walls will require more mass to be added to break, hence having higher tensile strength. And the idea of finding which fibers have higher cellulose content can be done using a microscope. And so now to look at the evaluation. So there are some limitations at the end of the day for this practical, and some of these are the fact that the fibers may not be uniform in diameter, and the diameter of the fiber can vary from one point to another, and it is difficult to attach the fibers to the clamp stand without damage. So once again, there is a possibility that this can affect the tensile strength of the fiber. And finally, the experiment uses a very small sample size. So again, it might not be, the data collected might not be of the highest accuracy. So now to look at the improvements you can make to improve the quality of the data you collect from this practical, it is to repeat the experiment. The most obvious way you can improve a practical. You can also use a micrometer or a caliper for accurate diameter measurements. In fact, this is actually recommended rather than using a microscope. So that's another tool you can use. You can also standardize the fiber length. Again, this is another control variable you can consider for your practical, and use a mechanical testing apparatus as well. So for example, you can use a nanometer to record the weight it takes for the fiber to snap, for example. So what are the safety considerations you need to look into for this practical? So first, most obvious thing is to wear eye protection, ensure that the masses are added carefully, and also ensure that you wear fully covered shoes because you do not want the masses to fall on your feet, and that can cause injury. And finally, secure the clamp stand so that you prevent tipping. And also make sure that you're standing while doing this practical, because if you're sitting, you're going to be careless and it might cause damage. So that is all from Professor SNAB today. Hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions or if you need further clarification, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to it as soon as possible. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe.